What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I am Tyrone. That is Devin. Wait! Before you throw yourself into a utopia? Come on back to reality and hit that subscribe button right down there, because it's going to help us out, because it's going to keep us around. Now, this movie stars Florence Pugh, Olivia Wilde, Nick Kroll, Harry Styles, Chris Pine. It's a brand new film that's in theaters, directed by Olivia Wilde, and it's called Don't Worry, Darling.
Welcome to the Victory Project.
We're all here because we believe in the mission.
What are we doing?
Changing the world.
What are we doing?
Changing the world.
That's right.
Just like you said last week that when we did our Barbarian review, you said that Don't Worry, Darling is making it seem like this is going to be the white women's Get Out.
Get out for white women.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that in some terms, sometimes.
Oh, I feel like it was there 100%. Like, this is Get Out for white women.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Florence Pugh is noticing things are different.
She seems to live this idealized 1950s life with her husband, who seems to love her. But there is, like you said, there is this underlying, like, sinister sizzle under everything in the town.
And the other people that surround her is very nonchalant about these things and saying, oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Right. There seems to be a secret in the town. And the secret is something that literally every man in the town shares, but the women don't. And it's, what do the men do when they go to work? And the women have theories, but some of them are afraid to even speak their theories out loud as to what they do. They feel these rumbles throughout the city, throughout the day. But you know, like the title says, don't worry about it.
Boys and their toys. At least we know they're getting work done.
You living a good life. Everything you ever wanted is right there at your fingertips. And as long as you don't ask too many questions, you can live a really nice life in the town of Victory, which seems to be set in this like desert, this barren, dry desert. But like you said, things start to go awry.
Unravel.
Yes. And this is where I think the movie does a really good job of like making you unsettled, right? It gives you every reason why she shouldn't ask any questions, because she's got it all, she thinks. But the eggs are empty, surprisingly empty. Her neighbor, apparently, we'll find out a little bit later that her neighbor's son vanished into the desert and died, and you're like, what? Now the movie does like some interesting things where it talks about conventional roles that men and women have in society versus like more modern roles that men and women have in society. And I feel like Barbarian did a better job talking about these kind of things than Don't Worry, Darling did, which is, again, kind of a shame. Like I'm saying, Barbarian kind of came out of nowhere, man. I feel like the movie spoke a lot about like a man's desperation for perfection in his life and how he may not care so much about the people around him, and about how he will tear down literally everyone around him in order for him to be happy. So she thought she was living her best life in the town of Victory, but really it was all about her husband, played by Harry Styles.
Every man.
This is, yes, exactly. It was actually about every guy in the town of Victory, which I thought was interesting. But I feel like a lot of people went into this movie ready to hate it. I'll be honest, my theater had the knives out. I had an openly hostile theater.
You did? Damn.
Openly hostile theater. At least one little group in my theater, or they were, I guess, I don't know what their deal was, but they were laughing at inappropriate times. And this movie had a very, very, very troubled production, incredibly troubled production, where it seems like there might be bad blood between Chris Pine and Harry Styles.
Yeah, over the weekend, a video of Chris and Harry circulated online of what many think appears to show Harry spitting on his co-star as he took his seat during the premiere of their film, Don't Worry, Darling.
Seems like there might be bad blood between Olivia Wilde and Florence Pugh.
September 23rd, Vulture released a report that the film's star, Florence Pugh, and director Olivia Wilde got into a, quote, screaming match.
Seems like everyone argued and fought all throughout the production of this film. That's not unusual. I don't know why that got played up. Actually, I know why. It got played up. It got played up a lot in the press, but I think it's because it was directed by a woman, and that's what gets played up a lot. But you know, that's not unusual for people to fight during a production. Famously, very recently, we all know Mad Max had the most contentious production ever, and that movie was great. After seeing the film, I think all the rigmarole and bullshit, frankly, about the production, I see a sinister undercurrent to it now.
Meanwhile, Don't Worry Darling cinematographer Matthew Libatique has also denied seeing red flags while filming, telling The Hollywood Reporter, "This was probably the most harmonious set I've ever been on. When I hear that there are rumors of acrimony on the set, I reject it. It wasn't apparent at all."
For me, I feel like this film has been done before. Okay.
Oh yes, that's the biggest flaw in this film.
Yeah,
it has been done before. There are no new ideas here.
There's no new ideas here, and it's just that the last 20 minutes of this film really just kind of just threw me in a wormhole. I'm like, everything's coming at me so fast. It's like, because of this, I was like, this is this, and then this is this,
right?
And this it is,
right.
I'm
so
like,
the thing that propels you to the film is this mystery. What the hell is going on in the town of Victory? And what do the men do when they go to work? What is going on? And there really is like nothing else in this film except for that mystery. I'm trying to think of like what is like a B plot in the film, right? Like there really is not there, right? And that's okay. Like I like for me, I was invested in the mystery. But you take something like Barbarian, where there's so much going on, this movie is a lot more straightforward. And so if you weren't invested in the mystery, you will not be invested in this film because there's nothing else to hang your hat on.
But I feel like with all those twists and turns that was in Barbarian, it was leading to that one place.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
It included all those twists and turns.
And that's another thing with this film. Barbarian was going somewhere, right? For this one, it was a little more straightforward, and I knew exactly where we're going. And that's because, like you said, there's nothing new in this film. This movie has the aesthetic of Stepford Wives and the plot of The Matrix. And I'm like, The Matrix? I was like, Neo? You know? That you? That you?
Oh,
what
man.
you doing in this movie, dog? Actually, I was also thinking this would be a good story, like within the Matrix universe. Like I've always said the Matrix should move on beyond Neo and Trinity. Like this would actually be an interesting reason why someone would enter the Matrix if they had a choice. Right at the end of the third film, they have a choice whether or not they can stay in the Matrix or leave. But I could see why someone would want to stay in the Matrix because maybe their life in the Matrix is more idealized, and their life outside the Matrix is, you know, eating that like nasty porridge and shit that they're eating. So
here you go, buddy.
I saw the commercial and I'm like, okay, clearly this shit ain't real. And so I just assumed that these were like, in my head, I created this like head canon where these people were in these are like some hyper conservative people or something in the desert, pretending like it's the 1950s, right? That's what I thought it was.
That's what I thought it was too.
But okay, good. So I wasn't alone there. Yeah. So, but in reality, it was like they were plugged into a video game or like into the Matrix. And so it's not even this. And so with that, I'm like, so I guess it's not even really modern day. It might be like the not so distant future in real life. So like that was a surprise that this movie takes a strong sci-fi twist, but not the exact same sci-fi twist as the Stepford Wives. I at first thought that was corny, right? I was like, oh no, they really like plugged into the Oculus Quest. That's what this movie's about. But then the more I thought about it, I was kind of okay with it. I was kind of like, you know, I kind of like the idea of these asshole dudes who are completely, they really don't care about anyone else, creating this fantasy world to live in. Because I mean, frankly, they do that now, right? They do that now with like these like Reddit communities and things like that, where they will create these little communities where they are, you know, the ultra masculine guys, and the women are just like either not there, or they serve some sort of subservient role.
I'm okay with the twist. I'm just not really so bought into the part of the twist being the last 15 minutes of film. But how in the hell do these people stay alive in the real world if they can't eat?
Well, they showed that. They had a little clip at the end where they show Harry Styles like cleaning up Florence Pugh and dripping some water into her mouth, and like I assumed that when they go to work
day.
Yes, when they go to work, they go home to like clean bedpans and feed their wives, right? So now that we know the twist is, right, I felt like there were a lot of things that weren't really answered, and a lot of things that didn't turn out the way I thought they were.
Name some of those.
The shaking in the town. What was the shaking? I assumed that the shaking was like maybe a train rumbling by and rumbling their apartment or something like that. But then everybody felt the shaking, right? They had other women feeling the shaking as well. So I'm like, what was the rumbling? I felt like that was something that got cut out of the film. I have no clue what that rumbling was. And then I thought, okay, so this is some idealized world that the men have created so they can live happily. But then there was a woman played by Olivia Wilde who was aware that this was fake, and she was just staying so that she could
be with her children.
Be with her children, who I'm assuming are dead in the real world. And that made me think too. So there was that pregnant woman. She was like permanently pregnant. So did her husband make her permanently pregnant? Or is this something she chose to stay pregnant? Don't know. And then at the very end, Chris Pine, I felt like this came out of nowhere. I'm like, what? Chris Pine gets stabbed by his wife. And she's like, it's my turn now. And I'm like, where did that come from? I felt like they should have had some like crumbs that maybe she not only knew that she was plugged into the Matrix or whatever, but that she was plotting against him somehow. And I feel like there were plenty of opportunities to do that. Because to me, I felt like the ending with him getting stabbed felt out of left field. I've heard people say like maybe this was all her plot anyway to like somehow take over this like Matrix world or something like that. I don't know, but I felt if that's the case, I felt like we could have seeded that better. But so the movie is not perfect, and it's there is like a level of jank, I guess, to the film once you have it all in your head. Which to me is where the pacing issues become a thing. Because this to me felt like a short story or like a Twilight Zone episode that got stretched out. Right. Because I'm like, so what was the B plot? Was there one? I've only seen this movie once and I can't really think of one off the top of my head. I felt like the B plot was an unintentional thing with all the drama in the background where we knew that Shia LaBeouf had signed on to this film and he quit, but Olivia Wilde said that she fired him, but then Shia LaBeouf released a video recording of him quitting, and well, the production of this film seems to be more legendary than the actual film itself, you know? I worry that all the drama behind the scenes has overshadowed the actual film.
It kind of made me get into like, what? I gotta see what's going on with this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The acting was on point from everyone. Surprising that Nick Kroll was in this film. From Big Mouth, dude.
Right.
So, Florence Pugh, she's top notch too. Harry Styles, he did pretty good.
I found nothing egregious about Harry Styles' performance. This isn't Harry Styles' first movie because he was in Dunkirk. He wasn't like a lead role. He didn't have like a big role, but he was there, you know. But I do feel like Florence Pugh like absolutely put this movie on her back and was shouldering it the whole time.
It was shot very well by Olivia Wilde, but this concept just wasn't new. I did like the fact that the kids weren't real, and the boy that the neighbor, the black woman she lost, I thought that was really cool that she was just walking out there into the desert and then he just disappears. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. So
I kind of thought it was weird. I was like, that's a weird little tack on thing. Throughout the film, I was like, oh, so who's real, who's not? And I'm like, oh, okay. So they very explicitly were like, the kids aren't real. I'm like, why?
why?
Go all the way. Be cruel. Be mean. Tie the kids into the Matrix. Bring him in there.
Put his eyes open.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to give this film a B-.
Okay. I like your B-, and I'm going to give this one a C+. I like the film. There are things in here that I actually really dug. Like you said, I like the way Olivia Wilde shot this film. I like how when she goes out to the desert, things went like straight up impressionistic, right? Where we had these like ballet dancer things going on. There's like drop of blood thing happening. She had her hands up and things were shaking and like the image turned red and like I really like that kind of stuff. And there was another scene where it was kind of early on where she was looking down at a miniature of the town of Victory and she was tracing her finger along the road. And I was like, oh, that's a really cool shot, you know?
Kind of reminded me of Pleasantville.
Yes, I was going to mention that too. But the movie, like you said, has nothing new going on. Even some of its ideas, the feminist ideas, I think were better expressed in other movies, like Barbarian, like Stepford Wives. I think some of the sci-fi elements were better done in other movies, or other TV shows, like The Twilight Zone or The Matrix, right? So, and even Florence Pugh. Yeah, Pleasantville. The way the men all left at the houses at the same time and they came back home at the same time, thought that was better done in Edward Scissorhands. So there was a lot. This movie like picked a lot from a lot of different movies, right? But which is okay because Quentin Tarantino's made a whole career out of it. But they didn't. Olivia Wilde didn't do anything particularly special. Yeah. It looks great though, super stylish. But I feel like there was no new stamp on it, right? It's really easy in my head sometimes to conflate this movie with Stepford Wives or with, like you said, The Matrix. Like, I could see this being almost like a mini Matrix story. So actually, this whole movie fits perfectly in The Matrix. You could just drop this movie in, right? So yeah, the movie is not unique, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. We've seen a lot of cookie cutter movies. We got another cookie cutter movie coming out later this week. So we've seen a lot of cookie cutter movies, but I was kind of expecting this one to be a little more elevated. Again, that doesn't mean I didn't like it though, because it has struck up a lot of conversation with everybody I've seen. Everybody I know who has seen the movie, they want to chat about it. They want to talk about it. And I think that's good. So the movie I think did what it was supposed to do, but unfortunately what it did wasn't new.
Do you recommend it?
I do recommend it. I liked it. I liked the movie.
I do recommend it.
I don't think you'll be wasting your time. So
I gave this film a B-. Devin gave this film a C+. That is our review for Don't Worry, Darling.
I thought you were going to be like, that's our review for The Matrix. I mean, Stepford Wives. I mean, Pleasantville. I mean, Edward Scissorhands. I mean, Don't Worry, Darling.
And I don't want to be here anymore.
Thank you for clicking on this video and seeing our handsome faces. Can you do us a favor? Hit that subscribe button right down there. If you did like our review for this, hit that thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. Or you can hit that thumbs down. Whatever you do, it is your opinion. But just remember one thing, it is mostly wrong. See you guys in another video.